Hi everyone, this is Dina, the Nightly Stitcher. Thank you for coming back to see me today. It's April the 11th, 2022. This is flosstube number 4. I want to first of all tell my husband happy 46th anniversary. We will be married 46 years tomorrow, so I wanted to give him a little happy anniversary a day early. We met on October 11th in 1975, 1974, October 11th, and we were married 6 months to the day we met. It was a blind date, and I didn't want anything to do with it. You know, it's like, no blind dates. But I had a girlfriend, and she had a boyfriend, and he was friends with my husband, so they kept wanting us to get together and go on a date with them, and it's like, no, I don't think so. So one night we were just riding around, just the couple that I was friends with, and we were riding around town because that's what you do in a small town at night, and we were riding around, and they decided we were going to go look for Steve. So no, that's okay, you know. But anyway, we found him, and so after that, 6 months later, we were married, and tomorrow will be 46 years. So I don't know how he's put up with me that long, but he has. He's a good guy, and I just want to tell him happy anniversary. But like I said, thank you for coming back and watching my video again. I'm thrilled that I have so many subscribers. I just never thought that you all would be that interested in what I'm showing you, but I'm having fun doing them. I'm having fun with reading all the comments, and I've gotten to the point now with comments that I can't hardly keep up with them. So if you're not asking a question, then I'll probably just give you a little heart, and or else when comments slow down, then I may be able to, thank you in a little bit better way for watching. But right now it's so hard to keep up with comments that I'm just gonna heart you. And then if you have a question, I'll try to answer. And if I do miss that question and don't answer you back through the comments, please bring it to my attention, so I will do that again. Because I don't want to miss you. But I'm reading all of them, and I'm really having a good time reading them. And somebody made a comment that they like the way I fly by the seat of my pants on these things, and that's kind of the way it is. It's just like, well, whatever, there may not be any kind of an order. I'm trying to do an order, but I don't know. I get off on other stuff, and then I don't stay in that order. So I just appreciate you all sticking with me. So I wanted to show you my March planner and how I did. Let me reach across here. Show you how I did with March. And if you've watched my previous videos, you know this planner book that I have. It's not really, somebody said one day on a floss tube that they really don't call it a planner. They call it a progress book, and that's more of what I have because I don't plan ahead. And so for March, I always start out the first of the month working on my WIPGO calls. And once I get WIPGO goals met, I have 2 WIPGO boards, a regular WIPGO and another one that's Ornaments that I don't have started, so I'll have to start those that month that they're called. And so far I've been able to start them and finish them that month, but I'm not too concerned with finishing them the same month, so as long as I get them started, and I can work on them whenever. But anyway, for March, I ended up with a total of stitches. I did 10,347 stitches in March. And then I stitched 29 days out of 31. I had 3 new starts. I had 2 finishes. and I worked on a total of 6 different projects for March. So I just like to kind of see that at the end of the month to see what kind of progress I've made, and it's fun to look back on. And then at the end of the year, I'll total up and see how many stitches I did for the whole year. This is April. April has not got much in it yet. I didn't stitch on the 2nd. I haven't updated this since Thursday the 7th, so I need to get these days put in. But I have a notebook by my chair, and I keep several days going on a notepad, and then every few days I just transfer it all over to this book. But I didn't stitch on the 2nd, and there's been a couple of days that I haven't stitched on here this month besides that. So I wanted to show you how I was doing on that. Let's see. On my whips, my Whip Go board this month called for Alphabet Blocks by Carriage House Samplings. And get that where there's not a glare. So that goal for this month was to do this border and down to the right down to the side of this, and to do this block, this whole D. I've got it all done except finishing up the little fill-in up here with some flowers and background color, and then I gotta finish filling in the color behind the D. So that one is almost there. My next one, if you watched in a previous video, I had Cape Cod girls and Cape Cod boys that I was stitching on hard hanger fabric. And if you hear background noise, the bus is letting the kids out front that live in the neighborhood. So I have no kids that ride the bus, thank God. But anyway, if you hear a roar, there's a bus sitting right out front. But anyway, Cape Cod Girls is by the Primitive Needle. It says, Cape Cod girls, they have no combs. They comb their hair with codfish bones. Well, I ripped this out and put it away because it was on my Whip Go board and I wanted it ready for when it got called again this year. Well, good thing I did it because it got called for April. And so I got it started, and my goal was 2,022 stitches for the month, and this is a little over that. Whenever I try to do that, the goal of 2022 is because of the year. But if I'm sitting and stitching on something like this in the evening, and it's, I've got a half hour left to stitch, I'll just stitch on the same thing for a half hour. So I don't stop once I meet the 2022 stitches. So anyway, I got that much done. I changed out some colors because it's pretty dark and I wanted more color to it. I'm probably gonna hang these in our camper because we have a fifth wheel and I have a lot of like beachy type things in there, so I'm probably gonna hang these out there, and I want a little more color to them. So I stitched on that. Let me move these over. I never have enough room. On my ornaments for Whip Go, my ornament Whip Go board, I have Beaded Elegant Ornaments, which is a dimensions kit. And I'm just going to start one. They have a lot of stitching, a lot of back stitching, so I'm just going to start one and see how it goes. Not going to try to get it finished because there's just no way, there's too much stitching. It comes with 18 count, 8 of cloth, felt backing, the threads, and the beads. So I still have that one to start before the month's out. And then my other one, I've already started this video a number of times, and either my phone fell or the battery went down or numerous things. So I'm really less organized than I even am to begin with. Not that that's great, but so my other ornament is a Lizzie Kate. It's a 2009 Santa. Says I'll get my elves on that. And I like stitch these on over one thread because they come out real small that way, and then I make little ornaments for my Christmas tree. So I'm using that fabric, which is an even weave. So I'll be starting that one before the end of the month, and I'm not sure if I'll get it done or not, but that's what my goal will be, to at least get it started. Let me look here. I've been, I worked in my sewing room. I started out, I've been cutting bags for my Etsy shop. I sold a lot of my project bags, and so I want to take some projects, or I want to take some with me on vacation so I can work on making bags to go back in my shop. Plus, I'm going to a retreat in Orange Beach, Alabama, and I was going to plan on taking some bags down there. So I've been spending 2 or 3 hours a day cutting bags, and my back has really been bothering me. So I said something to my husband about, I wonder if it's because my cutting table is so short. It's a conference room table that's right here behind me, and it's really long, really wide, and we already had it on 2x4s to raise it up anyway, but I still have to bend over quite a bit. So he said he'd just put some more boards under it and we'd get it raised up some more. So raised it about another 4 inches, I think it was. But I had to clean off all this stuff, you know, to get the weight off of it, because it's a very heavy table. So got all this stuff taken off, threw it over on the floor, and got the table raised. Well, you know, then once you get it off, you see all the fuzz and lint and stuff. So had to clean that up, pulled everything out from under it, cleaned all under there. Then, you know, one thing leads to another. I had a new TV that I got, a flat screen TV, so I could watch YouTube up here in my sewing room. So we got that hung on the TV, or on the wall. And yes, I have this giant dinosaur TV here, which I use it because it has a built-in DVD player and a VCR player in it. So I can just throw in some of my old movies in that and watch them. And, you know, I don't care whether the qualities of the movies are that good or not. You know, I know Blu-ray or whatever, you know, the quality of your pictures so much better. I don't really care because I'm usually listening to it anyway, and I glance up once in a great while. But I have a lot of old movies that I like to watch. So yes, I have this TV, and then I have the one hanging on the wall. But I couldn't get either one of them to do the same thing, so it was just either get rid of this thing and not watch my movies. So, but anyway, we got this all cleaned off, got my table raised, got the TV hung, and then I started cutting out on my table again, and it's helped my back so much better. But my ironing table now is too short because I was working here and my back wasn't bothering me at all. But then I go over and I was working at my ironing table and my back hurt. So he's going to get ready to raise it up some more. But my ironing table, it's a regular table. And I think it might be like a hall table or something. It's probably 4 foot long and 2 foot wide. And he cut a big board for me that's bigger than the tabletop, a little bit bigger. And then we covered it with batting and fabric and made a top for it. So I have it Velcroed on, and then I can just pull that top off of there and put a new ironing board cover on it whenever I need to. But anyway, it's a little bit shorter now, so he's going to have to raise it up. So I've been doing that, been cutting out a lot of bags. And the other day, I have to tell you this story. The other day, and I got to get a drink anyway. But I had my soda up here, and I never put my soda where I'm working. It's always sitting on another table where I'm not working. Well, that day I decided I'd just set it right on the corner of my cutting table here. And at the end of my cutting table, I have a trash can. And so as I cut, I can just take my hand and sweep stuff off, and it just drops right down in the trash can. Makes it a lot easier. Just a bit. So anyway, I just sweep it across, goes in the trash can, and just a lot easier if I'm trimming stuff at my ironing table. Well, I was working at my ironing table. My soda's sitting here on the corner of the cutting table. I reached across to get some of the little clips that you use when you're sewing instead of pins. Well, I reached over to get that little box of clips and bumped my soda can, and it was a full can. I had just barely drank anything out of it. It goes off in the trash can. At least the trash can was there. It goes off in the trash can. Of course, it startles me. I'm just like grabbing, and I trying to catch the soda can as it goes. Then I bump the ironing board table, and the iron goes off in the trash can, and it's on. So you hear the sizzling. I don't know whether the sizzling's coming from the fizz of the soda gushing out of the can or from it hitting that hot iron. But anyway, it's making all kinds of noise. And then I grab the cord, and I'm kind of like this, trying to get my iron pulled up out of the trash can. And then when I pull it up, there's all these little strings of fabric and batting and vinyl that are stuck on my iron. So I had to clean my iron off, which really wasn't nearly what I thought it was going to be like. I thought it was going to be like cleaning glue off of it, but it came off pretty easily, even though it was melted on there. But that was my fiasco of the day. So I knew not to set that can there, and so now it's sitting over here on the corner of my sewing machine cabinet. So all right, so that's what I've been doing pretty much. We getting ready to go on vacation before too long, so we're trying to work in the camper a little bit. I'm starting to gather my cross stitch, heck with the food that goes in the camper, the clothes that go in the camper. I'm working on my stitching pile of what goes in the camper. So I'll tell you more about that in a little bit. But anyway, let's see, what can I tell you about next? That goes later. Oh, I have some Easter stuff that I was going to show you. And this is all a mess because I've already done this video once. This is a Easter pillow that I made. And I think the pattern might be from Fancy That. I'm not sure, but I think it is. I made this years ago. So many of the things I've done, I've made years and years ago, so I don't remember. And I don't even have the pattern for this. So it has Just Another Button Company jelly bean buttons on it. Not too wild about the purple after I added it, but I wasn't taking it out. So it is what it is. And that's the pillow. I have Prairie Schooler book number 178. This is called Bunnies. It's stitched on black, and I like the colors always stitched on black. I think they really pop out. But we were in New Orleans on vacation one year. I'm going to have to kind of turn a little bit. We were on vacation, and we went into a shop in New Orleans, and actually I think the shop is in Metairie, which is just right outside New Orleans. I can't even tell when I leave New Orleans and go into Metairie. But anyway, the first thing I saw in the store when I walked in were these little bunnies, and they were actually framed in little frames, but they were done on this light blue, and I thought they were so cute. So I said, well, I didn't want to buy the book because I didn't know if I had it, because I have a ton of Prairie Schooler. So I came home and I did have it, but I thought, I can't, it just doesn't even look like the same patterns. But they turned out so cute. They're so fast to stitch. And I would finish one in like a day and a half and just move right on to the next one. Because they just went that fast and they were so fun to complete. And I just put a little simple backing on the back of them. There's 9 of them total. They were stitched on a 28 count light blue even weave. I like this little guy gathering his carrots. And the last one is this little girl watering her flowers. And then I did, let me find my stuff. Like I said, I've done this a couple of times now. Okay, this is by Bent Creek. It's called Uber Egg. It came with buttons for it. And it is this one right here. And all I did was finish it on 2 boards, and it sits on an easel. But it's done on a 28 count even weave. It has the little buttons there. Has the trim, little flowery trim that I thought was really cute. And I've done these several years ago. The bunnies are the newest thing I've done, and I did those year before last. This little one, I don't know. I think that's a free design, but I'm not sure. But it's done on a blue even weave, and I just did it flat, so it just sits on a easel or propped up against a shelf or something. Put the little bow and the button on it. This one is by Bent Creek, and it's called Bent Creek Charts and Snaps, and it says July Sings. And they had monthly patterns for these, but I only bought the July, and it comes with snaps. And instead of having July Sings, I changed it to Songbirds, and then put the little snaps on it, and the little raffia bow, and I made the cording, which I don't particularly like making cording, but I do occasionally. And I did it as a flat fold. And Bonna Pfeiffer, I've taken classes when I worked at the needlework shop years ago. I took some classes when we went on trips to needlework markets, and I learned how to do stand-ups, flat folds, a box. This little egg I did, and it comes from the pattern from You and I and Friends. It's called Spring 2, and it's kind of hard to see there, but it doesn't show up real good here. This was in the early days of me trying to play with dyes, and I had used beet dye, and I got a really pretty pink out of beet dye, and it's still a real pretty pink. Well, I used mustard on this and really just gobbed it up with yellow mustard and let it set and rinsed it out. And it stayed a really bright, pretty, yellowy mustard color for years, but over the years it's faded, so I don't know what I did wrong. I know a lot of times they say to put alum or, salt or vinegar, and I've heard dish soap. Put that in there and it sets the color, but I probably didn't do any of it, and it just, I guess, faded over time. Now these two, let me find my book. These two are by the Cricket Collection, and it is called Half a Dozen, book number 194, and there's 6 patterns right there. They show them all together on a pillow, or they show the 6 in egg ornaments. So I did the basket of eggs on a 10 count fabric, and I put the rickrack in between the front and the back, and then just a miniature, the mini rickrack for the hanger. This year I'm doing an Easter or spring tree. There's another one. And I have this bad crease, and I could never get that out. And I even used Best Press, and I still couldn't get it out to just keep it out. It's come back over time. But I'm doing a tree this year. I have a primitive looking Christmas tree, so I thought, well, I'm just going to do seasonal tree this year. This little one I think I took in a class. It's on 10 count Clostern, and I think that's what it is. It has Smyrna crosses all around the border. It has little glittery floss for the lens of the glasses. And again, I did this years ago. That's the backing. I did it in the little easel. But like I said, I did classes, but I still go back and I watch Vanna, the Twisted Stitchers tutorials, because she does such great tutorials. I try to get some little pointers or something, refresh myself on them. This I did in a class, the little rabbit, and then it has the little kitten charm on it. And we made the cording that time. And this fabric, this is more of an upholstery fabric. It's pretty heavy, but it looks good with it. That one, I did this one. I can't remember. I think this might be a Lizzie Kate, but I'm not real sure. It came in like a CD case, and then it had the little butterfly button that came with it and the pattern. I don't remember. I think it did come with the fabric, but then I ripped the fabric, just ripped it so the edges were raw, and gathered it up with needle and thread, and then glued it around there, glued the bow on, the little flower, put some magnets on the back, and I put it on a watering can. And this was in my, that embarrassing under the bed box where you finish your stitching and you just throw it in the box. And I probably have 40 pieces in that box. So I need to get more made. I could make a video out of just my under the bed box. This little guy I did, and like I said, don't remember when. He's done on an even weave. Looks like a 28 count even weave. He's done with whisper thread for his body. Whoops. Boughton cord. I just purchased a cording. Purple back, purple bottom. This one I found at a thrift store or flea market, anything along that line that you normally go to. But I found it. It's done also on a 10 count. This is a design that I'm pretty sure is by Mosey and Me. The rabbit, the body is done with gray whisper thread. And the bird up here, it seems like there's a little bit of fuzz on most of this. So they may have used whisper for all of it. But it just stands out more on the bunny. But they did a really nice job assembling. They used the green for the back and then covered cording for that. So nice and sturdy. So whoever made it did a nice job. I'm glad I found it. My last Easter piece. This is a piece by Be Stitched. And they don't design anymore, I'm sure, and you can find some of the patterns out there. I saw this one the other day just to see if it was available, and it is available on eBay, I think. But I did this years ago, and it's framed in a East Side molding frame. Okay, that's all of my Easter stuff. Let me see what is next on my list, because I'm trying to stay on my list. Let's see. I don't think I showed what I was stitching on since my last video. This is Let Freedom Ring by Leila Studio. Whoops. By Leila Studio. I'm working on the left upper corner. And all the leaves and vine and stuff, that is done in endive. And I have like 3 partial skeins of endive, and none of it matches. And they call for 3 to 4 skeins of endive. So I'm just going to pick some up. Hopefully shops will have it while we're on vacation, and I can go back in and fill in with all the vines and stuff. So this is all where I just carried my thread across to park it because I didn't want to cut the thread. So that is what I've been working on. And then I also have worked on Big Red Ship of Life. which is right here. I decided to make this my morning stitch because I hear so many people that talk about a morning stitch, and I thought, well, I'll do that because in the mornings we get up and we have coffee and we watch Hazel and Leave It to Beaver. There's 2 episodes each, and I like watching them, so I thought, well, that'd be a good time I could do a morning stitch. So we have our coffee and I stitch. So been working on that. And I made a project bag for my ship to go in that has ships. So that one is just in the morning, and this is the pattern from Ink Circles. They have a big red ship of life, a medium red ship of life, a small red ship of life, and just the other day I saw, and I think it's called a ship of lesser commitment. So they get smaller from this one, smaller, and then at lesser commitment. So if you don't want to do the big one, you can still do a ship of life. Okay, let's see what's next is haul. And on haul this, since the last one, I just got 2 days ago, I think it was, what is this? This is Monday. Saturday, I think, I got my Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine. It's got some really nice patterns in it this time. I think, look at this little guy. Or these little guys. I don't do punch needle. I just enjoy the cross stitch, but there's enough pieces in here that if you do just a cross stitch, there's plenty to do. This is really cute. There's plenty to do for the price of it. It pays for itself. There's another cross stitch for spring. I have a feeling they'll be doing some others. But Theresa Koget's got the one in here. And then Vanna, the Twisted Stitcher, she always has an article in here on how to finish something. So this time she's finishing a pillow. So this is well worth the money if you want to invest in that. And then Chrissy from Finally a Farm Girl, she has started designing and she's doing a great job. I love her patterns. So I purchased these, and they're in sleeve protectors. This is Ruby Rabbit. And I think I'm going to have to start her before very long. So Ruby Rabbit, Winter Messenger, Abe's Parade, and Santa Bear. And I watched her yesterday, I think it was, and she's done a Thanksgiving one that is so cute. It's got pilgrims up at the top of it. She had it made into a pillow, but she has pilgrims at the top and a little girl, and I can't remember what else. Then she has wording that says blessings or something blessings, and then down at the bottom of it, she did 2 little pilgrim mice, and they are so cute. And I don't decorate for Thanksgiving. I just kind of go from fall to Christmas. So I'm still going to do them and put it out with my fall stuff. So I did buy those. And she's working on a Santa right now. So I'm anxious to see what that looks like. I have another Save the Stitches. I found this on Friday. We had to go out of town for a doctor's appointment, and no, it wasn't a doctor's appointment. It's usually a doctor's appointment, but we were meeting our daughter and son-in-law for supper on Saturday night. We're going to be gone for Mother's Day, and she wanted to get together with us for Mother's Day and give me something before we left. So we hit the antique mall, and I found this for $5. It says, "Step through my garden gate." And I think that's pretty cute. But she she gave me a road trip. It's going to be a girls' road trip. So my oldest daughter, who gave it to me, is also giving the same gift to my younger daughter. So it's going to be the three of us, and we're doing a road trip to Pawhuska, Oklahoma, to the Pioneer Woman's area. So it's going to be pretty neat. I'm pretty excited to do that. So we haven't set the date yet, but we will be doing that for a long weekend. Okay, what I have left is what I'm going to be going on vacation, taking with me on vacation. We're leaving on the 20th, so just not too many more days. We'll be leaving on the 20th. We go to Little Rock, Arkansas for 5 days. I'll be going to a Stitcher's Garden in Conway, which is not very far from Little Rock. And then I'll be going to Shepherd's Needle in Little Rock. And then from there, after 5 days, we go on down to Gulf Shores, Alabama. And I'm going to be attending a retreat down there from Thursday to Sunday at Orange Beach. We stay at the Gulf State Park campground. And then I'll just drive back and forth. My husband will probably drop me off, and then he'll go fish for the day. But anyway, we do that. And then one week, following week, we're going over into Florida for a while, and I'll be hitting some shops over there, and I'd like to be able to go to Brick City. They have so many fabrics to choose from that I want to go over there and go to that store and see what else I can find along the way that are some cross-stitch shops. Then we go back. We're going to be gone down there for a week, and then we go back to Gulf Shores State Park for another 2 weeks. So my husband was figuring it up. We're going to be gone 45 days. That's the longest vacation we've ever had. So, but that was the whole point. Part of the point of me retiring was so we could go do these kind of things. So we're looking forward to it. So one of the pieces that I decided to take with me is going to be vintage birds. I haven't worked on it this month. And since I'll be out of town when they call the new numbers for WIPGO, am I showing that to you right? Yes. They won't be calling the new numbers until the end of the month, and we'll already be gone. So I'm just taking 2 projects off of my WIPGO board and 2 ornaments, and that's what I'm going to use as my WIPGO for May. That one, and then this one is called On the Beach. It's by Tra La La. And this is my little start. I have a little bit of the border and a little bit of the umbrella. So I'm going to take those with me. Then on my ornaments, I have a bag that I gathered up before the first of the year, and I just put a bunch of ornaments in them that I want to do. So I do have some of them on my WIPGO board, but there's others in there that I don't have, so I'm just going to stitch on something. But I am going to start this owl. This is going to be one of my ornaments for May, because I just finished the cat. So I do want to get him started. And he's going to be on the same fabric that the cat was on. It's just a 18 count that I dyed myself. Let's see if I have anything else. I think that might be it. But some of the ornaments, I'll show you some of the ornaments I have here. I have It's a Jingle out there. So it's just kind of, I just want to do these at some point. Santa's Coming to Town. Santa 07, 'Tis the Season. And let's see, I have a Theresa Wenzler. Well, I have these by Haunted. It's called Haunted by Luminous Fiber Arts. I want to do those 3 top ones. Probably do I wouldn't mind doing them all, but do the top ones as ornaments. And I have this, and I never started it, but I'd like to do is Theresa Wenzler's 12 Days of Christmas. And I'd like to do that. I even have some 12 Days of Christmas fabric for the back I bought years and years ago. So I wouldn't mind doing that. Oh, this one, Santa's Got the Goods. And I think that's pretty much it. That looks like that is all of it. I did have a question I wanted to address before the end of it. And somebody asked me why I frame with pins instead of lacing. And there's nothing wrong with lacing. There's nothing wrong with pins. It's the way I was taught. When I worked in the needlework shop, I took a class when we went to one of the markets and learned how to stretch needlework and frame it and glass and the whole bit. So I was taught with pins, so that's what I know. That's what I do. I've never tried lacing. The only time I would ever lace something is if I'm doing something round where you can run that stitch and gather it up so you've got that good circle. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with lacing or pinning either one. It's whatever one you prefer. They both have good outcomes, so I wouldn't have a problem with either one, other than I know I can do pinning and I stay with pinning. So that answers that question. Now, before I leave, I did want to give you a little video of my wall here, because I said that in the last video and I forgot to. And I don't know much about this, so I'm going to have to flip you around real quick so that I can get you on the other. All right, so let me move my stool. This starts up at the top with the A's and they go all across here. And this was a process over several years. I didn't just stop, finish one and start another one. I might put it away, finish one and put it away and not do another one for 6 months or a year, and then I would get out another one and do it. I did do it in order. I started with the A's and finished with the Z. And I really couldn't tell you which one would be my favorite. I really like them all. And I like it because it's so different. It's not A is for apple, B is for bird or whatever. It's, she's got some really cute ones that are different. Mermaid is one that you wouldn't normally think of. That Q is for quilt. That was one that took a while. I like the little stitcher. So the rest of the stuff on my table here, I'll just show you real quick. It's not clean, but it's somewhat clean. This is my Machinist Tool Box. I keep cross-stitch stuff in it, buttons and magnet boards and needle cases, stuff like that. That's my mom's old sugar jar and her buttons. She always had that jar on her kitchen counter, and she had a metal tin full of her old buttons, and those are really old buttons, but the tin was in very bad shape, really rusted, badly dented, so I put all of her buttons in the sugar jar, and it sits there. This black spinning piece I found at Harbor Freight, and it just keeps all kinds of, you can see kind of what kind of stuff I keep in there. This I just bought not too long ago at an antique mall. It's a store display for sewing machine needles and shuttles from the Boyd Company. They would loan these out to the stores, and you would go into the store and you'd match your needle up, or if you needed a shuttle, you would match it up on this, and in the back of it, or inside it, there's holes where the little wooden needle cases go. And it does have a few cases of needles in there. So I was real excited to get that. I've always wanted one of those. And there's my dinosaur TV. And all of my quilting rulers. And my AccuQuilt cutting can't think of what you call them, but anyway, if you quilt, you know what they are. This is some of my collection of old antiques. I have a lot of vintage sewing items around the house. My mom made that little yarn doll years and years ago. She passed away in 2010. That's a centerfold out of an old, I believe it's a Missouri Rulist magazine. It's dated back in the 1800s. My dad worked for John Deere most of his life, and so that piece and the buggy both came out of the John Deere, or the Missouri Rulist, I think it was. But yeah, they used to sell buggies too. And this is a receipt dated what did we decide? It read 1935, I believe. Just an old sales receipt from the John Deere Plow Company. So that's it. But I meant to show you all this video before, and I forgot it last time, so I wanted to make sure I showed it to you this time. So again, that's my wall. They're all done on a 28 count lamb's wool linen 2/2 and framed in a east side molding unfinished frame that I painted with a dark chocolate Americana paint. So that's it. So let me turn you back. So anyway, I'm glad you stopped by. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a little unorganized, but oh well. It's like we said, I fly by the seat of my pants, so it is what it is. So I don't know if I'll do another video before we get back from vacation. If we get decent Wi-Fi, I might try to do a video while we're gone, but if not, then I'll do one when I get back. So thank you for stopping by. If you have any comments or questions, just put them in the comment box, and I'll try to put some links down in there for anything I've talked about, and I'll see you next time.